All right, so I decided to do this challenge, this stats preview component card thingy. I downloaded the files and I've got them here. So I got my images. I already had a look at Figma a bit and did some, just boxes for some measurements. And yeah, so I thought I'd just get started with it. I'm gonna use it with CSS Grid because usually most issues I come up with when I use Flexbox, very simple things because of how I code, they don't occur in Grid. So I'm probably going to use Grid. But yeah, I thought let's just get started. So open with live server. Okie dokie. And I'm thinking I'm going to tab between the design and code. So I can't do the both, but I'll always want to see my background. So, okay, first things first. Gonna do a new file. Gonna do styles and resets.css and one more file, style.css. Okay, I would use Sass. I usually do, but for the time being, I won't have to. CSS reset. So I have this code snippet already. I've got another one for Sass, but again, it would just take too long to explain in this very simple clip. Okay. I guess we should download the font. I think it uses one font. It uses a font called Inter. Okay, so Google Fonts Inter. So I'm pretty certain we just need medium and bold. I don't think we need anything else. If we need something else, we'll get it. I'm gonna import them here. I'm gonna do root. Font family is Inter. There's the sans serif, yes. Inter sans serif. You know what, just in case, because I haven't looked at the design that carefully, I'm just gonna import all of them, just so we don't come up against any issues. Okay, and then just because I hate bright backgrounds, background, so the correct version of this is background color, but I don't bother with that quite frankly. It's the same thing to me, so I'll treat it as such. Okay. Hello? I thought body, background. Of course. Link, href, styles, and first is resets, and then it's style. Save, and could probably open our live server. Perfect. Okay. Close that down. Responsive images, not gonna do them. So I was wondering how to do the images, but I'm just gonna do. You'll see how I'll do it. It might be not the best way, but it's just how I'm gonna approach this problem. Okay, so first of all, let's just think about what we have here. The first thing we have is this main container, and this is stats preview card. Okay, it's sort of like here, it's a component. That's exactly what this is. We can say it's an article because wherever we would put this, wherever I would put on, I don't know, samsmith.com or where I put bobdylan.com, this thing would make sense. It's just like if you'd copy an article from BBC or CNN News, whatever, right? If you'd copy an article from there, paste it somewhere else, it would make sense by itself. And that's kind of what defines an article semantically. It's a bunch of HTML that wherever you put it, it's going to make sense by itself. So that makes sense, hopefully. And then I suppose we would have two sections. The two sections would be, so sections, you actually, come on, man. For a section doesn't make sense by itself. It needs other content around it to make sense. And it's, I suppose, a nice way just to actually segregate different content. Section is just a nice semantic element, I think. So if we do section.image container, because that's one side, and I suppose the next one will be also a section dot I don't know, the stats preview card. Stats preview card. Starts. I'm just gonna call it stats card. I'm gonna add some BEMI looking stuff just so it makes more sense. Stats card, and then again stats card. Info. Okay. So now we've got these two sections. That's cool. Then we want two images. First one will be mobile. Second one will be desktop. And okay, the picture is three women. So 3 sitting around. Let's just write things properly. Sitting around a conference table. Talking and working. Okay, whatever. That's fine, right? That's okay. I'm gonna deal with that in a moment. Then we have 3 sections. First section is heading. Then we have description, and then we have stats. Yeah, okay. So H1 info heading. Nope, don't want to do that. Paragraph info description. And finally, we have, can this be a section? I wonder. I don't know. Why not? Section.stats. We should info stats. And then we want, I suppose, article dot stat. And inside article.stat, we want two things. One, h2.stat heading. Stat value, actually, it's value because it's a number. You know, like 2 million followers, let's say. That's a value or amount or quantity. And then we have a paragraph, I suppose, and then stat description. I think that would be fine. How many stats do we want? 3. Okay. And I think we've got this stuff here. Let me just copy that across. Just gonna do it this way. I don't like random spaces, so I'm gonna remove them. It's not formatting to delete those, that's fine. Okay, so we've got that content. Let's copy this content into description. And last one, this one. And I think insights is a word in purple. Yep. So that one we can add a span, right? So I just add a span. Let's just cut this. Remove an extra space. Everything's looking fine. We've got a content there. So do we need more HTML? I do not think so. Cool. So we can get cracking with what might need style guide just in case. Style.css. Let's move that to the right. Let's do it this way. And then now we can switch between the two. I'll just open style guide when I need it. Okay. So body, background. This might be weird. I want to start with the images just so I clear them up. So what do we have here? Yep, this is the thing I want. So dot start image container. Image. And if the image is not and child one, so if you're not the first image, right, then I want you to have display of none. And then I want to create a keyboard changed language. media, screen, and main width. I'm thinking we're gonna have this as the general media query for this project. Then we want to have basically copy this. Display will be block, and then display 2 will be display none. Okay. So if I'm not the first child, display block, and if I am the second child, display block. Okay, I'm not thinking about this. Okay, what I want to happen in English that there's two images, right? The first image is mobile. So I want the first image to show on mobile. Because I code things starting mobile first, that's the code that I want to be here. So, okay. So if I'm not the first child, I want to display none. So the second image, in theory, should be hidden right now. Okay. And we can just quickly inspect this just to check that I'm correct. So this is showing and this is hidden. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then we want to revert that. So if I am the first child, so image. So if image, and we just do that. If image is first child, I want it to be display none. And yeah, I don't know why I did the whole not logic. I could have just done child 2. I know why. I did a project where I did this solution, I think for 4 images, different breakpoints, and the logic stack that I would always use not. So it cancels out all the other ones and I just select one. But in this case, we don't need to do that. So if the image is and first child, 2, display none. Otherwise, if the image is first child, I want it to display none. And if the image is child 2, I want to do display block, and I think that will work. So now if this is hidden, and now it's showing, perfect. Okay, we've got what we wanted, finally. All right, sorry, that was like a little distraction, because I don't know why. Because these images, when you look at their dimensions, so this says, okay, so for desktop, the width is 540. For mobile, it's 654. So mobile width is actually wider. Yeah. To be honest, we could just use the mobile image. Why don't, yeah, okay. I think I'm just gonna do that. I don't think the desktop image is necessary. In fact, before I just delete them, I'm just gonna comment this out. Don't wanna see it. Okay, let's just continue, shall we? Let's just do that. Okay. So, what do we want for body? Body is width is 100%. Height, 100 view height. Padding is always 2.4 rem. How do I know that? I've done quite a few front-end mentor projects, and padding always ends up being 2.4 rem. Whoops. So if I click this, sometimes it shows the lines around it. Anyway, 2.4. There you go. So that's 2.4 rem. Display will be grid. Place items will be center. Why is this image? There we go. Place items center. So this perfectly centers things horizontally and vertically. We need anything else for this? I don't think so. The image right now, as you can see, is taking extra space. That's because it's reverting to its original size because we haven't styled it in any way. So that's why. This is messing up. It's just the image. Background is background. I don't think we need anything else. Okay, dot. Card. I think we can just do article. So let's just keep these semantics in our CSS. Okay, so stats card. What do we want it to have? Well, width, we want it to be 100%, but there is going to be a max width. The max width, we always go back to the original design. There's a max width here, so I'm going to do rem. In this case, 100 rem is actually equals to this many pixels. And that's because in my resets, I've set this font size is 62.5%. And what this does is, so because 1 rem is usually 16 pixels, but now 1 rem is 10 pixels. So 0.1 rem is 1 pixel, and so on and so forth. So this is actually 1110 pixels. Yeah, just so I'm not hiding anything, because I was quite confused before I understood that method. Okay, we've got a max width. Height, I always use height auto because I like my content to determine the height of an element. Do we have any padding here? No, we do not. I know that because padding will be only to the left, or what is this? It's not description, it's just information section, but image section clearly has no padding. Okay. Now, stats card, that's fine. And I think I'm gonna do display grid. And I think we're gonna do grid template columns. For now, it's just gonna be 1FR. Rows will be automatic. Let's see what happens. Nothing should have happened. That's good. I think justify items center. Okay, so it moved things to the center. Okay. And the center is a weird thing right now because of the image, but that's okay. We're gonna do color white, just because everything in this article has color white except that span of insights. We can also do text. Come on, text align is center. So our text is now aligned centered, and all the text is always going to share the alignment. I checked already. So you can see on desktop, it's showing left, 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 and then we go here, it's centered. So we just change it in one spot and everything works fine. And that's kind of what you get when you just review the designs. And the designs can be for, a massive project like Designer that I did some time ago. I still use this just to remind myself of certain ideas. But yeah, this was a 7-pager. Or you get this, but the concept always remains the same, thankfully. Do we need anything more? Not really. So now we can do stats card image container width. We're gonna put 100%, and stats card image container image width 100%. Object fit will be cover. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Cool. Now, this image clearly has a mixed blend mode, and I think if we observe, the image is using blend mode of multiply, and it has a different opacity. Okay. So let's do that. But first we actually need a color. So style guide MD. Dark saturated brew, soft violet, accent. Yes, we want the accent color. So image container will have a background of the accent. And there's that weird 1 pixel there. I don't understand what that's about. Well, that's okay. Height 100%. That removed it. Perfect. Now, mix blend mode, multiply, and it shouldn't look correct yet, but now we will set opacity 0.75, and it should look pretty damn close, if not identical, to the design, as you can see. Yeah, so that's just how we do it. The color is contained in the background, and then the image overlays on top. And I actually forgot something. Stats card also has a background. I think is this one. BG. Save. Yep, it's that one. Okay. So we're getting somewhere, yeah? And stats card actually has a border radius. Let's check quickly what the border radius is. 8. No, it's everywhere, right? Just 0.8. So it's just 8 pixels, basically. Border radius 0.8 rem, and I think the image will outflow, as you can see. The image corners are still sharp. So what we can do is overflow, because the image is overflowing, and we want to hide it. Now it's hidden. Cool. So that's nice. Next, let's focus on this one, shall we? Okay, dot stats card. Stats card image container. Stats card info. Ah, I was correct. Okay, whatever. Okay, what do I see first? I see a padding. So remember, I always style for mobile first, so let's focus on here. First of all, I see a padding of 3.1. Yeah, 3.1 rem, 3.1 rem. What about the bottom? 3.2. So it's 4. And then it's 3.1 there and 3. It's this one, I think. 3.1, 3.1, 4, 3.2. Yeah, it's a very specific one. So, okay, let's just set, first of all, we can set width 100%. Padding, we can set 4 rem, 3.1 rem, 3.2. Yeah, rem. And the last one, so this is for left, this is for right, bottom, and left is applied automatically when you have these three. Cool? I hope that's cool. It's cool with me. Next thing we see is that this is a flex. This is a column. So I can actually use display flex flow, which is a shortcut for flex direction column, and flex wrap, not wrap. And I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second. It's just to simplify my own life. I don't have to do anything else yet. And I can put gap now. Now the way I do gaps usually, because sometimes you have three, so you can see right now we have 3 elements, 1, 2, 3. But sometimes you have more, and what I do these days is I just set, okay, I look for the minimum spacing between them. So this one and these 2 elements have 1.6 rem. These 2 have 4 rem spacing. So okay, I'm gonna do gap 1. Shit, was it 5 or 1.6? 1.6, I think. Yeah, 1.6 rem. So these guys can have 1.6 rem. So I've set the minimum. And for this paragraph, I'm actually going to set an additional 2.4 rem margin. So together it's going to be 4 rem or 40 pixel spacing. But sometimes a lot of elements will share very similar spacing. So I just set this default minimum kind of spacing. And then I add the remainders. Sometimes that's more work, sometimes it's less work. I suppose I just made my own method and stuck with it. That's what happens most of the time, I guess. Oh yeah, that's just my madness, so to speak. Stats card info. I don't think I need to do anything else right now, so we can move on. What else is there? Info heading, info description. Okay, let's just type them. Info heading. Dot info description. I think the next one is dot info stats. Then I think we have dot stat. And then we have stat value and stat description. So dot stat value, whoops, and dot stat description. Okay, still got some stuff to work with. Nice. Info heading. What do we want for info heading? I don't know what I want for info heading. Okay, sorry, I yawned a bit there. I'm gonna use clamp. Clamp is a way to make to resize fonts with so whatever you want responsively. So, and this is a tool you can use to calculate something. The thing it calculates is you give it the minimum of like size, you give it the maximum font size or width or whatever. You give it the widths of the viewports, the minimum and maximum. And what it does is calculates, okay, what font size do you want to start with as a minimum? What font size do we go for so it's always increasing perfectly until it reaches that maximum viewport? So here, so I explain, it's 375. Our media query for desktop is 1.2K. Minimum font size, I think I checked this already, 3.6 rem. Maximum font size, I don't remember. So let's see. This is 2.8. 2.8. This is 3.6. Got it. 1 rem, as I discussed, is 10 pixels, and it gives us this calculation. So it's going to be a minimum of 2.8 rem. Then it's going to be preferred to be this much rem and this much view width until it reaches 1.2K, at which it will perfectly match 3.6 rem max. Let's just copy this clamp thing. Info heading, font size, clamp, save. So now, and that's what I did wrong. Whoops. All right, we're getting somewhere. Does this have a line height? Yes, 3.2 rem. Line height 3.2 rem. That's better. I think that's it. I don't think there's letter spacing. No. Okay. Dot info heading span inside, and the span will have a different color. That's an accent. That looks good. Next is description. I'm gonna guess this is 1.5 rem. Let's check. 1.5 and 2.5 line height. Okay. We can just do this. Font size is 1.5 rem. Line height is 2.5 rem. Yep. And I think it's gonna have an opacity of 1.8, 1.75. They usually pick something like that. So it's a bit grayish. It's a bit grayish. Yeah, 75%. And we're done with that as well. And then we've got these bad boys, eh? Info stats. Stats, I also want to make this into a flex column because I want to use gap. Info stats is a flex column. What's the gap though? My throat is really dry. 2.4 m. 2.4. All right. Stats, we don't need anything in there for now. Stat value. 2.4 bold. I forgot to set bold for heading 1, didn't I? Font weight. Bold is 700. Stat. Let's just check that. Line height doesn't have anything. 2.4 rem, I think. So, whoa. That's the wrong place. That's better. Start description. It has everything. Okay. So 1.1.2 font weight is normal or regular, which is 500. Medium is regular. Opacity, I'll do opacity in the bottom 0.6. Letter spacing is a 1 pixel. Yeah, 0.1 rem. Line height 2.5 rem. Pretty good. And I forgot something. I forgot to add that extra margin. It was 2.4 rem, I think. Info heading, info description, MB, margin bottom, 2.4 rem to the 1.6 rem. So now there's 40 pixels of spacing between the two. As you can see, without setting a single height anywhere, we have kind of arrived at a just, I don't know how much, if this is minimal code or not. We could have left less code for this to work, but this is fairly minimal code. It's working fine. Yeah, I like it. I think for the info, I'm gonna put a maximum width on it. Something like 65 rem maybe. Let's try that. Max width 65 rem. So that's 650 pixels. And it stops growing just so it looks kind of okay until we get to the desktop size. Although the desktop size could start earlier as well. So we'll decide at some point soon. Stat, we don't need it seems. And I think there's a little space in between these two. 2 pixels. Stat value. We can just put a margin bottom 0.2 rem. Okay. So that's done. And how big is a thing? Okay. So now let's go back to the top. And we're going to change our grid slightly. So we're going to add a media query now. Media, screen, and min width 1.2K. We're going to do article stat. We don't need anything here. I don't know. I'm going to change. For now, let's just focus on the grid, shall we? One of far, one of far. I actually don't want... Okay, for now we'll do 50-50. I don't think this design is 50-50. If we check briefly, this is 54, and this is 57 rem. That's okay. That's fine. One of our, just 2 items center, we don't need that. Save that. Okay, we're pretty close. Straight away, we are pretty close already. There's no... So, like in Flex, you can row reverse and all that stuff. I don't think that exists in Grid. Pretty certain it doesn't. That's okay. We can just do grid template areas. Oh, let's just do grid. And we will do what am I thinking? Info image. Yes, it is really that simple. Image container, grid area image. Straight away it went there. Just for good measure, I'm gonna also add it to the info stats cat info grid area info. Okay, cool. That's interesting. So I have one of our. But this is taking more space. I think it's because the width is 100%. Yeah. So what happens if I remove that? I remove that. Okay. So what's happening is that the text is expanding, and suppose grid in some way or form is not respecting the rule of one of our because our content on the left is trying to expand. I suppose to the image We can do a min width of, no, we'll do it to media screen and min width. I should copy and paste this instead next time. Let's just copy that. Min width 54 rem, I think. The hell? That's not what I was expecting. I thought this would only apply if once we reach this. Why is it messing up? We shall inspect. Okay, for good measure, let's keep stuff tidy, and we will have grid. Just gonna add some spacing. So the first one will be image, and the image row, so I'm setting the row now, will be, I don't know, min content. I'm gonna have info. I'm also gonna put min content. Then for columns, I'm gonna put one of var, as we have above. Don't think I need that. Cool, we're back. The grid is a shortcut. You can do so many things inside of grid, but in this case, it's grid template areas. The row, so this particular row for this area. Then the next one, grid template row, so just one row. Instead of all rows, I'm setting one row by one. And then I'm setting, after this /, I'm setting one of var for the column. So it's one column. And if we expand now, I forgot that I moved it instead of, okay. Image, info, min content is a row. Yep. Let's delete that. Let's go back here. Should be fine. All right. So that's for the row. And one of var. Save. Look at that. That's everything's being respected. Interesting. Okay. One of var. Can I do min content? Ah, this is what we wanted. Now I would be surprised if this isn't exactly 54. Yeah, there we go. It's exactly what we want. Perfect. So at this point, we're getting really close. Okay. So let's keep at it. So I can see that my paddings have changed. 7.1, 12. Okay. I don't know if I need this padding. Probably not. I will need padding top, right, left, top, left, and this. Can I put padding outer? Does that work? Padding outer. Outer is not a valid value for. Okay, cool. We'll just use 0. Okay, cool. So we have a padding here. No, a padding is in a info container. Let's just copy a media query. Info, there we go. And just copy this. And the first thing we want to change is padding. So that's the first thing I noticed. Padding, here we have specific padding. We'll have, so I have 7.1, 5.9, 7.2. 7.1 rem, 0, 5.9 rem, 7.2. Already forgot. 7.1. Yeah. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, I think I know why. We have this max width. Let's just put the 12 rem in there. Okay, this looks messed up, but we'll fix it in a single line, I think. Where did we set it? Text align. So text align, we put it in card, but it doesn't make sense to be there because we only have text here. So let's put the text center in here. And then let's reset it to left. Look at that. It's already looking better. I think you'll agree. Next thing is let's look at the spacing between them now. So I'm trying to go one by one, if you can see that. Computer is starting to slow down. Not sure why. 2.5. 7.2. So 2.5 is my minimum now. 7.2. Yeah. Yes, so we're gonna update our gap. 2.5 rem. And we had this margin bottom. Info description. The reason why I'm setting all these media queries one by one is it's just how I do this in Sass. In Sass, it's just much easier because you can nest a media query inside of the element and just add styling and it will automatically update everything for you. So if I did, let's say, I'll show you how it would look like in Sass. It's obviously not going to work here. But in Sass, what we could do, essentially, is something like this. So we nest a media query inside of an element, and it just works. And why is it not giving me any errors? Would this work here? Probably not. It shouldn't work here. Is it working? That would be shocking. Wait. Are you telling me I can do this? Okay, open a media server. It's not working, right? Or is it? If this works just in normal CSS, I've been wasting time. So it's this one. Look at that. Style, CSS, line 70. Oh. This is info description, isn't it? Wait, what the hell am I doing? Oh, I remember now, because, yeah, right. No, I'm an idiot. It wasn't working. I don't think so. Anyway, that's how it would look like in Sass. Now you know. And that would work correctly. Okay. So we know we want to change this margin bottom. What is it? 7.2, 25, 47, I think. 4.7 RAM. Okay, we've got the correct spacing now. The next thing is to do info stats. So we have a, okay, so we'll copy that. Info stats. And a gap will change as well. So it's actually row. It's already looking better. Let me just close that. Okay, that is looking better. And this looks like a, what is this, 60 RAM? I mean, 6.3 RAM. 6.3 RAM. Oops. Okay, looking better. Is there anything else that we need to add? I don't actually know. No, I think that's it. I think that's it. Is it responsive? It's responsive. It should probably stop growing around this point though. So let's actually set that, because at some point, you know, stuff just looks too big and it's just stupid. Let's just do something like maximum of 650. Okay, let's try now. Max width 65 rem, and we will remove. Will we remove it? Yes, and we will add max width 111 rem. Save that. That's more or less kind of what I would like, you know. You can see that the font is increasing, by the way, with clamp. Yeah. And the design doesn't really break anywhere in between. So this would be another, like a tiny example of what I would mean by, like, you know, like a responsive layout, right? I didn't set a height. And considering I didn't set a single height anywhere, let's have a look how close I got to the original design, because I think that's where some people might get confused, right? So I'm not going to check this mobile size unless, I suppose I could, but I don't feel like there's a point. I don't go for pixel perfection anymore. That's what I'm saying. There's no point. 78, 76.6. It's pretty close. I don't know what I messed up. Probably some padding or maybe some line height I'm missing. Am I missing line height? Let's investigate. This has a line point. Oh, I forgot that this is large font. No, I didn't forget line height. I did forget description. Okay, line height, text transform, uppercase. But yeah, like I wouldn't really go changing this pixel by pixel or whatever. It doesn't matter enough, you know. Like I always think when I started, I was going to go for, like, you know, every single pixel. I had to get everything to be perfect. But that's not really what web development is about. It's not about getting a pixel perfect to the design. The design is a design. You can think it's a strict constraint, but it's not going to be strict to a pixel unless someone literally tells you have to do it exactly. Then sure, go for it. It's going to be pointless, but, you know, do your job, I suppose, right? Whatever. Yeah, let's try the desktop now. So desktop, let's just open it. Okay. So what's the size here? We have 1110, 417. I'm feeling that's not quite big enough. 417. So it feels like I missed something bigger. 446. Line height? 4.4? Okay, okay. Image container, it's somewhere here. Heading. Info heading. Line height, yes. So there's a line height missing here. So oops, not that one. Let's cut that, cut that. 4.4, I think it was. Okay. 441. See, at this point, I'll stop trying. 441 and 446, pretty close. I don't honestly know what I could have missed. I really don't have a clue. I'm pretty sure that my paddings are correct. So paddings, as you can see, I do go for pixel perfect usually. You don't have to. You can go, you know, whatever looks right, you can do that. I'm not sure. 2.5, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed, I think. As long as I have 2.5 here. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna look for a few more pixels. I'm happy with the result. And quite frankly, if you're spending more time on something like this, you're wasting time, I think. And of course, let's just check if oh yeah, I decided to use the mobile image, and that's fine. hasn't broken anything. Could I use the desktop image? Sure, I could. We can even check how it might look like. Just here, save that. Am I correct in saying that there's zero difference? I think so. That's a zero difference. There you go. That was a pointless thing to be concerned about. Yeah, I don't know. I hope this was somewhat helpful. It helps me when even if I'm talking to a microphone and the audience is 0 people, it's still helpful just to verbalize this stuff. Although I don't think I've done a particularly good job. But yeah, that's something done.